never slow up, no I don't take shit. I got fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up. I don't ever slow up.
What is up, you guys? We have something a little new today. So we got set up with RFN to become an electric dirt bike dealer at work. And so obviously I had to get one to try it, right? Who wouldn't? I know electric dirt bikes aren't everybody's thing. Who doesn't want a little mini bike? It's basically a pit bike that you can use around, especially down my road where everybody freaks out if I'm out late, you know, and things are loud and yada, yada, yada. So let's see if we can figure out how to get it out of the bed of the truck. I lifted it into the truck with a forklift. Didn't really consider getting it out of the truck once I got home. So that's my bad. It's gonna be harder than I thought. Well, it's out. That's better. All right, so for those of you that are gonna put this together for yourself at home, keep in mind, it comes in a big metal crate and a box. You're gonna have to find somewhere to put all that stuff. Sorry, my baby is crying in the background. I will try to edit that out. But anyways, so when you guys are taking it apart, there will be a Phillips head screw right here, and then a 10 mil on the back, and there will be 6 bolts. There will be one right here, one on the other side, one right here in the middle, and then one on this side. So you'll have 6 in total. You take those off, this top crate comes off, then you get to the good stuff. Before you can actually pull the crate off, you get all those 6 bolts off. You want to come over here and cut. There's gonna be the 2 wire ties there. There's gonna be 3, 4 on the actual front wheel. And then the rest, I think you can actually wait to take off till later. So keep that in mind, get those cut off. Just makes your life easier. They do a really good job at keeping things protected, like on the wheels. Let's see if I tear this open. So see in here how on the wheel, they actually put a plastic sleeve around the wheel so it doesn't scratch the rim. Which, you know, all these electric bikes coming from China, you don't expect much, but honestly, like, they did a really pretty good job at keeping it protected, so kudos to them. And then you just give her a lift and it comes off. And good luck to the 90% of those of you that are like me and have absolutely nowhere to put a big piece of chunk of metal like that. So I will be finding a public dumpster to go and dump it in the middle of the night and not tell anybody. So you will want a dirt bike stand 150 times easier if you have one of these. Then the fun part, we actually get to start seeing some stuff. Take off the old bubble wrap, take off even more bubble wrap. So this bike is what they call an Apollo RFN Rally Pro. From what I understand, from us being a dealer for a whopping 1 day, they are the ones that make the Beta Explorer. RFN is the manufacturer, and then other people are buying them from RFN and making minor changes. So the parent company, and by being the parent company, they get a few things, which I will show you later on. All right, so the first step, I forgot to record this part. You're gonna take off these 4 bolts for the handlebar mount, so you can get the handlebar mounted up. But to do that, you actually need to get down here and get into the fun stuff. There's gonna be 2 boxes. This one is your charger. So in this box, you will have your assembly parts, which obviously you need. Super cool. Comes with all the tools you need, other than like the wire cutters and the 10 mil you need to get it all off. Comes with Allen wrenches, every size you'll need to put the bike together. Comes with all these end wrenches. Comes with obviously your hub spacers, and it comes with 11 tooth, front sprocket. So if you want to gear this bike down to go for more gnarly single tracky stuff or wheelies, there you go. They include it. What we also need are the plastic parts. So your fenders are in here. All right, in the assembly parts box, there is going to be number plate, pegs, which I'll get to these later. This is why it pays off to get the RFN instead of the beta. And this is what we need. So this is gonna be your Speedo mount, more or less. And where this goes, these will mount on there like that. This actually goes, so the prong right there is face down and it goes on the top set of holes. So we'll go ahead and get that mounted up right now. You're gonna actually tuck all of the cables in between the bars. So your cables will go down in between down here. Your brake cable comes in front, and this one obviously sticks out front. And then there's these two plus signs that kind of helps you align your bars so you know right where they need to be. You'll put one mount on over here, one mount on over here. And this doesn't have to be final. This is just kind of getting them so they're snug so that you can work with the bracket. And then kind of get them close to adjusted where you think you might want your bars. Nothing crazy. For all you guys freaking out that I'm using an impact gun instead of a wrench. So again, you're gonna put this bracket now on these top bolts. You just put the bolt through the bracket and then down into the handlebar mount. And there you go, your bars are mounted. The next easiest thing to do is unbolt the front clamp so that you can get the front tire on and get it up on a stand. So, bolt off. There you go. So you'll take those clamps off. We got to get the bike up on the stand. Underneath on the back fender, there's actually a wing nut underneath here. We'll take that little wing nut out, and it's a bolt just like this. And then up on the front, to take the front of the seat off, you actually just pull these little, I don't even know how to explain what they are. They're like a little pin button deal. And then the whole front seat comes off. We're gonna take the battery out just to make it a little easier. There's a little rod up here that you pull, and that kind of loosens the battery. We're gonna pull the battery out. There's one clip here. You pull this black one out. You just unscrew it and then unpull it. And the battery is actually in there pretty solid. So when you take it out, you've really gotta yank it out of there. There's some rubber grommets down here that it rests in, and it's really in there pretty solid. So unless you're a wuss like me and it's too heavy for you. In your toolkit, there's gonna be these spacers. The long spacer, see how one's a lot longer than the other? The long spacer goes on the side with the rotor. You just push it on there. The short spacer goes on the side without the rotor. So don't forget that. Now we'll set the wheel to the side and we will get the front axle out. And honestly, you should be able to just put both of these on there and you'll crack it loose. And then you'll grab the supplied Allen key that they give you and you'll twist these and loosen these up a little bit. And you don't have to loosen these all the way, just loosen them enough that this clamp isn't clamping this bar on. And you'll know, see how it's loose now. So we'll pull this axle out. Now, obviously everything's drier than a rod. So they have oil on this and that's it. So I'm actually gonna grease this up good with some good waterproof grease before I put it on. Coming from dirt bikes, it's not a bad idea. You just get a little bit on there. You just don't want anything metal to metal. That's never a good thing. I don't care what you're doing. Grab my wheel. The rotor goes on that side. Get it slid in there just right where you can obviously get it in. I'm just gonna thread this nut, bolt, whatever you want to call it. Well, if I can get my greasy fingers back on there. I'm just gonna screw it back on. And then you're just gonna tighten these down. Same thing, don't go crazy. You just want them all to be snug. You're gonna have where your caliper goes. So the bolts already come in it from the factory. You just have to take these little bolts out, pull the baggie off. I'm actually gonna put the cable in on the tire side, mount it up there, and then we'll mount it up here on the mount up here. So to make it a little easier, I'm actually gonna cut the zip tie up here on the brake, holding the front brake. So that'll release the front brake. So when I pull out this little brake pad spacer plastic piece, it doesn't clamp the brake down on you and make it hard to get these on. And it just mounts right on there. Put these two screws back on. We'll just loosen these up. And then we will route this brake line around the wheel on the inside, and then we're gonna pinch it down just like that. And these little holes just slide down. It actually goes behind the brake line. So you just slide those little holes down over the front fender. Just the one bolt that holds it in. Now this part isn't actually necessary because the front or the rear wheel comes on and ready to go. Because I'm willing to bet money that they did not grease the axle bolt. And it's a pretty common thing to see, drier than a bone. And it doesn't take very much to just lube it up a little bit, and it's not hard. And we're actually gonna put the kickstand on. Just cut it off of here, off the swing arm. So you're gonna take out this bolt, and you're gonna slide it in. Just like that. Flicks right on. I probably couldn't do that again if I tried, but there you go. That's how you do it. Linkage doesn't come together on this bike. So you actually have to cut this zip tie here. And what you have to watch out for is there are 2 O-rings right here on this silver piece of the linkage. When you cut that zip tie, that's holding those O-rings in. Do not lose those O-rings. And cut this zip tie, and you're gonna pull this linkage down, and you actually have to connect the bottom of the shock too. So you're gonna also cut that zip tie. First off, you're gonna take off this nut here. Now that we got that bolt all greased up, and we'll just go through there just like that. Put the nut on, and you do have to do the shock bolt first. Biggest thing now on this side is you just don't want to let those O-rings come out, so that you can actually get that bolt through, and you'll feel it just push all the way through. We're gonna get your fenders on while the battery is out. So you're gonna open up this little bag that came in one of the boxes, and you're gonna have these supplied screws. So there's gonna be 2 of these fatter screws, and then there's gonna be the 2 narrow screws. There's a pre-threaded hole in here, so the little teeny screw will actually go through the bike and into that pre-threaded hole. The fat screw goes through here and into the frame of the bike. You're gonna see these little things hanging out, so those will actually slide into the hole right there. Get that bolt put through there, and it just slides through. There's this hole right here in the frame that it'll go through, and then you'll put this nut on the back side, and then you'll grab this little one right here. Find it's easier to put it on here, and it's actually underneath this tape. It's easier to pull this tape back, and you'll kind of stick it through the hole down here, and then you just line this plastic up, and you'll screw it in. And then down here, it'll have a few different peg placements for your feet. You got 6 different options. I'm gonna go kind of a neutral position for right now. Obviously, we got the pegs on, and you wanna make sure they fold backwards towards the bike. So if you go down, they fold with you. So now we're ready to put the battery back in. While we've been putting this together, I got the charger out. And the cool thing about this charger is you can actually charge in 10 amps or 5 amps. And it's actually a relatively small charger. Nothing crazy about it. I love that. Some of the other chargers are huge. Obviously the 10 amps charges it faster. The 5 amps charges it a little slower, but more efficiently. So we did the 10 amps just so that we can get out on a ride real quick. Take it out for a little spin and see what we think. You just unplug that. You put the little waterproof cover back on the charge port, and obviously you got your other 2 ports here. Now, this battery does not need to be removed to charge. You can charge it while it's in the bike. I just happen to have it out, so that's what I did. But we're gonna get this back in here. Now, when you're putting this battery back in, you actually want to set it in here and smack it. And you'll feel it push down in, and there's some rubber grommets down in there that keep the battery from rattling around. Really good design in that way. You'll plug in this battery connection here. You'll feel it click. You'll push this green tab down, and that kind of locks it in place. Then we've got our black one right here. And then obviously this we're not gonna lock in yet because we have this panel to put on. Now again, if you wanted to ride this bike like a trials bike, you would just put this down, lock it on, and you're good to go. You could go ride the bike just like this without a seat on it. Kind of cool that they give you that option. Another cool thing, and this is just across the board, but on these bikes, they actually give you storage. So these are just bungee cords underneath the seat. You could throw in a hydro flask, a hoodie, some tools, and once you put your seat back on, you just kind of push down and these kind of lock in place. And these push pins just push right in and lock, push in and lock. And then this screw goes up underneath the fender right here. We're almost done here. You will unwrap your display that's been sitting here dangling. Obviously, the buttons actually go on the bottom, and this mount that we mounted almost very first thing will slide into that. And once you get that all the way on there, it'll lock in place. And then we're gonna turn the key on. And if you'll come around here and look at the display, it comes in kilometers per hour. We're in the US. None of us know what kilometers per hour means. If you hit that button, it switches it to miles per hour. You have a trip, your overall odometer, and then you can reset your trip from there. To get it to run, you have to actually hold both brakes in for a second, and then it'll come on, and obviously the rabbit is running. It's in rabbit mode. You hit the mode button, you're in turtle mode or rocket mode. Now this is another secret. RFN and the beta, if you hold this mode button, you have to hold it for about 10-15 seconds. You'll hold it just like that. Now that that is flashing, the brake sensors are disconnected. Now you can hold the brake, ride the gas all you want, and it'll spin. But the only downside to it is every time you turn the key off, you do have to do that process again. Now on the Beta Explorer, you can do that, but it won't stay that way. Eventually, after 10 or 15 minutes, it will actually turn back on all on its own. So it could cause you an accident. So just another reason why the RFN is that much better.
Now that I've been put through hell, I never got anyone's help. I had to do it all myself.